This is just one of Charles's many properties throughout the UK. Both Highgrove and Ray Mill House are in the countryside.
Charles and Camilla had the property extensively renovated to their taste. Clarence House served as the official residence of King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla from 2003.
From scandalised outsider to Queen Consort, Camilla Parker Bowles has been on quite the journey.
For the longest time, many people have wondered if Queen Camilla had dark secrets she was hiding from the public. Well, it looks like the public won't have to speculate much longer, because a recent deep dive into Queen Camilla's estate uncovered something that's not just disturbing, but puts her in a very awkward position with her husband and, frankly, the entire public. So what exactly was found in Queen Camilla's estate? And what does this shocking discovery mean for the royal family as a whole? Stick around, because we are diving into all the harrowing details. The shocking discovery. Queen Camilla has, time and time again, managed to land herself on the front pages of newspapers. And most times, the headlines aren't exactly flattering. But recently, the Queen made headlines for a very different reason. And let's just say, this one is damning. What started out as a routine check into Queen Camilla's estate turned into something much more serious, because what was uncovered wasn't just suspicious, it was downright implicative. And now, royal sources are whispering that the palace has been scrambling to keep everything under wraps. But here's the thing. They're failing, and failing woefully. So now the question is, what exactly did they find in Queen Camilla's estate? And more importantly, why is the palace trying so hard to bury it? Stick around, because the details will shock you. Ever since royal insiders leaked the news, the public has gone wild with speculations. Some of the rumors are absolutely unhinged. Others? A little too believable. But before we dive into what was actually found, let's talk about Queen Camilla's estate itself, because the setting of this drama says a lot more than people realize. While many assume that King Charles and Queen Camilla live in Buckingham Palace full-time, that's not exactly true. Whenever they're in London, the couple actually prefers to stay at Clarence House. It's been Charles's main London residence since 2003.
Clarence House is situated on the Mall in London. Clarence House is now the official London home of Charles and Camilla.
And thanks to ongoing renovations at Buckingham Palace, it'll stay that way until at least 2027. But when they need a break from the city's chaos, the couple retreats to somewhere a lot more peaceful. Highgrove in Gloucestershire. That's Charles's beloved countryside sanctuary. And as serene as Highgrove is, what most people don't know is that Camilla also has a private hideaway of her own. Tucked away in the gentle countryside of Wiltshire is Ray Mill House, a quiet, personal escape that Camilla has held onto since the early 1990s. It's not just a house. It's a piece of her pre-royal past, and it's remained completely hers. After Queen Elizabeth II passed away,
a few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
It was at Ray Mill House that Camilla reportedly went to seek solace after a long emotional week of national mourning. In fact, right after Her Majesty's funeral in September 2022, while King Charles flew to Highgrove, Camilla quietly returned to Ray Mill House. This was never just a house. It was the home she bought in 1994, after splitting from Andrew Parker Bowles. She lived there from 1996 to 2003, and even after becoming queen, she kept it as her private country base. It's so important to her that it was chosen as the backdrop for her 75th birthday portraits, photographed by none other than the Princess of Wales. That alone should tell you how personal this place is.
Camilla turned 75. The palace has released a new portrait of the Duchess of Cornwall. It follows a separate photo shoot with Kate Middleton.
And when people say that the home is luxurious, they are not exaggerating. There's an outdoor swimming pool, stables for her horses, and large gardens with a river running through them. It's no wonder her daughter, Laura Lopes, hosted her wedding reception there when she married Harry Lopes in 2006. Step outside, and you'll find a generously sized swimming pool lined with concrete walls. Step inside, and the tone shifts. It's surprisingly low-key. Camilla's kitchen, for instance, is modest and homey. It has yellow walls, red tiles, and blue-tiled flooring. The cupboards are white, the worktops are wooden, and in the center sits a circular wooden dining table. Before she moved in, another view of the kitchen showed an old-school black AGA cooker on one side, complete with a chimney-connected hood. The sitting room is airy and grand, looking out over the sweeping garden. It's got high ceilings and a carved alcove that opens into a bay window with floor-to-ceiling glass panes. The furniture? Think 2 floral armchairs, a matching sofa, and scattered wooden tables. The dining room leans more regal. With cream and white Baroque print wallpaper and cream carpets, it exudes a quiet elegance. Another wooden dining table sits in the center, matched by a side unit and a chest of drawers. On the walls, 2 large, gold-framed paintings. And overhead, a chandelier that reminds you this is still the Queen's space. Upstairs, there's a concrete roof terrace with black railings, offering a full view of the lush grounds. The hallway that leads you up has cream carpets, high ceilings, white plinths, archways, and because royalty never skips on grandeur, 2 chandeliers. As guests walk up the stairs, they're greeted by a large curved window framed with cream and green curtains. The staircase itself is lined with a wooden banister and a solid concrete railing. Then comes the paneled bedroom, named for the wooden panels lining the walls. It's got cream carpets, 2 bronze-framed paintings, and a cream and white button-back bed that completes the look. The windows are traditional sash style, with red curtains that drape all the way to the floor. In the corner, an oak chest of drawers, and finally, there's the snug room. This one's all about comfort. It has wood-paneled walls, a massive fireplace with an oversized painting hanging above it, shelves filled with trinkets and ornaments, and a wooden rocking chair nestled in the corner. It's the kind of room you curl up in with a glass of wine, a thick blanket, and maybe a secret or 2. But just like that, the house at the center of all this noise is no longer just a peaceful countryside retreat. It's a place everyone's watching, for better or worse. And while the spotlight may have landed on Ray Mill House, the real power play isn't happening behind its paneled walls. It's unfolding quietly inside palace corridors. Because as attention swirls around Queen Camilla's private estate, King Charles has been making some very strategic moves of his own. How King Charles is securing his wife's future. The British monarchy is going through one of its tensest moments in years. But what's really setting off alarm bells behind palace walls? It's not just King Charles's declining health.
There are new bombshell claims today from royal insiders who say King Charles's cancer is incurable and he will likely die with the disease.
Or Prince Harry's ongoing rebellion. No, the real twist lies with Queen Camilla, who's quietly positioning herself and her son, Tom Parker Bowles, to walk away with a much bigger slice of the royal fortune. While most eyes are on the fallout between King Charles III and Prince Harry, it's Camilla who's playing the long game. According to royal insiders, she's been using the ongoing family feud to strengthen her position and make sure her son, Tom, comes out as an unexpected beneficiary of Charles's will. And the truth is, it's working. Everything exploded after Harry gave a rare interview to the BBC back in May this year.
In an extraordinary interview tonight, Prince Harry has spoken candidly about the breakdown of his relationship with his father.
He didn't hold back, saying that his father's health was critical and hinting that the end might be near. That one statement sent shockwaves through the palace. In response, Charles reportedly blocked Harry from returning to the UK and made a shocking decision to slash his share of the royal inheritance as punishment. That single move shifted everything. With Harry effectively sidelined, that vacant share of the royal estate had to go somewhere. And that's where Camilla comes in. Multiple sources say she's been keeping her distance publicly, but behind closed doors, she's been subtly influencing Charles to revise his will in a way that drastically favors her, and, by extension, her son. It's a masterclass in quiet maneuvering. Camilla hasn't been directly involved in the public drama between father and son. But every time Charles tightens the grip on Harry, Camilla's share seems to grow. Coincidence? Not likely. Sources say she's been encouraging the king to legally limit Harry's inheritance to the bare minimum required by British law. Why? Because with Harry's portion reduced, someone else stands to benefit, and Camilla wants that someone to be Tom. Now here's where things get even more intriguing. Tom Parker Bowles isn't a prince. He's not part of the royal line of succession, but he's become a familiar face at royal events, accompanying his mother and slowly building a stronger presence around Buckingham Palace. He's already well known in the UK as a respected food critic, but now, some media outlets believe he's being quietly positioned as a major financial heir. With Harry essentially out of the running, and Camilla's own position in the household stronger than ever, the possibility of Tom gaining from Charles's vast personal estate, private funds, properties, priceless artwork, is very real. The numbers could be staggering. And Camilla's quiet campaign, it's starting to look a lot less subtle. Of course, all of this is happening against a backdrop of total silence from Buckingham Palace. No official statements, no confirmations, just carefully curated public appearances and a growing wave of speculation. But here's the thing. Queen Camilla's silence is its own kind of statement. While she avoids direct involvement in the ongoing chaos, she's reinforcing her status through presence. She's by Charles's side at nearly every official event. Her institutional duties have ramped up. She's behaving like someone who knows exactly how much is at stake and how to secure her future and her son's before it's too late. And now, with Charles's health under increasing scrutiny, the pressure to finalize changes to the will is ramping up fast. The King's cancer diagnosis has raised urgent questions across the UK and abroad. What happens if the monarch steps down or worse, passes away? In the event that Charles abdicates or dies, the crown will pass to Prince William.
Whether King Charles dies or abdicates, Prince William will one day take the throne, and things are going to change for Camilla.
He becomes King William V, unless he chooses a different name. And with that, every single royal title, responsibility, and financial decision moves under his control, including what happens to Queen Camilla. So what would become of her? Technically, Camilla would retain her current title. Think of the Queen Mother, who kept her title until she passed away at 101. But royal experts are already saying that Camilla's life would be at the mercy of the new king's decisions. If William wants her to keep a public role, she will. If not, she could quietly fade from the spotlight, regardless of what Charles may have hoped for. And here's where it gets personal. Because once Kate Middleton becomes queen, the dynamic shifts. Kate is not only the mother of the future monarch, Prince George. She's also the most publicly adored royal. Compared to Camilla, who still carries decades of scandal baggage, Kate's influence and popularity will be unmatched. Royal historians say that Camilla would likely continue with her charitable work, particularly around literacy and domestic violence.
The Queen Consort has hosted a women's-only reception at Buckingham Palace to raise awareness of violence against women.
She may also hold honorary roles in military regiments, but all of that would be up to King William. He would call the shots about where she lives, what she does, and how visible she remains. According to royal commentator Joe Little, every aspect of her public and private life would be reviewed. Even the residence she ends up in, whether it's Mill House or another royal estate, would be chosen with the new monarch's final say. So yes, Camilla is queen now, but her long-term influence isn't guaranteed. That's why what she's doing now, quietly positioning herself and her son for financial security, matters so much. With the future of the monarchy hanging in the balance and the king's health in question, Camilla isn't leaving anything to chance. And while the palace stays tight-lipped and Charles continues working through treatment, one thing is crystal clear. Behind the headlines, behind the family feuds, Queen Camilla is quietly shaping the royal legacy, and she's not doing it alone. Background on Queen Camilla. For years, Camilla has lived in the shadow of scandal, whispers, and speculation. But who really is Queen Camilla behind the headlines and the royal titles? Because if you thought you knew her story, think again. From aristocratic roots and high society parties to a royal affair that shook the world, Camilla's journey to queen is anything but ordinary. And the details? They're messier and far more intriguing than the public ever expected. Camilla Rosemary Shand was born on July 17, 1947, at King's College Hospital in London. While that might sound pretty standard, her upbringing was anything but. She was raised between an 18th-century country estate in Plumpton, East Sussex, called the Lanes, and a posh home in South Kensington. Translation: Camilla grew up with one foot in the countryside and the other in the heart of high society. Her father, Major Bruce Shand, was a British Army officer turned wine merchant, and her mother, Rosalind, was the daughter of a baron and also a dedicated charity worker. So yes, the aristocratic pedigree was there from day one. Her childhood? Picture something straight out of an upper-crust fairy tale. Dogs, cats, horses, and garden parties for the local Conservative Party. She was even described as having an Enid Blyton kind of childhood, though biographer Giles Brandreth points out it was far grander than that. Camilla was gentry, plain and simple. The Shands had household staff, social standing, and connections in all the right places. She started her education at Dumbrells, a local co-ed school, before heading off to Queen's Gate School in London, where she was known as Milla. Even at a young age, she exuded a quiet confidence and inner strength. After school, she went to finishing school in Switzerland and then studied French literature in Paris. Her official debut into society came in 1965, when she was presented as a debutante in London. In her early 20s, Camilla bounced around London, sharing flats with high-profile names like Jane Wyndham and Lady Moira Campbell, daughter of the Duke of Abercorn. She worked as a secretary in the West End and as a receptionist for a decorating firm. That job didn't last long, though. Rumor has it she got fired for showing up late after attending a dance. Even then, Camilla played by her own rules. But of course, the real twist in this story comes with Andrew Parker Bowles. She met him in the late 60s, thanks to his younger brother, who worked for her dad. But let's talk about where her life really took a turn: romance. In the late 1960s, Camilla met Andrew Parker Bowles, a dashing officer in the Blues and Royals. Their relationship was a roller coaster of breakups and makeups, classic aristocratic drama. Then in 1973, an announcement in the Times revealed they were engaged. According to biographers, their parents may have sent out the announcement without consulting them first. Either way, the pair married in a lavish ceremony at the Guards Chapel in London. Camilla was 25, Andrew was 33. Their wedding was the society event of the year, attended by royals including Princess Anne, Princess Margaret, and the Queen Mother. Camilla wore a custom gown by Belleville Sassoon, and the reception was filled with 800 of Britain's most elite guests. The couple settled in Wiltshire, first at Bolehide Manor and later at Middlewick House. They had 2 children, Tom, born in 1974, and Laura, born in 1978. Tom was even made godson to Prince Charles.
The Duke of Cornwall was anointed as Tom's godfather long before he became his stepfather.
Yes, the same, Prince Charles. Despite the outward appearance of a happy family, things weren't picture perfect. Camilla stayed Anglican while raising her children Catholic in respect to her husband's faith. But over the years, distance grew between the couple. By 1994, they were living separate lives, and in January 1995, their divorce was finalized. Now here's where things get a bit complicated. Long before her marriage unraveled, Camilla had already caught the attention of someone else. Prince Charles. Camilla met Charles in 1971 at a party hosted by mutual friend Lucia Santa Cruz. Sparks flew. They moved in the same elite circles, shared a love of polo, and soon became romantically involved. But timing was not on their side. Charles left for the Royal Navy in 1973, and by the time he returned, Camilla was engaged to Andrew. Still, the connection never really died. Over the years, they remained close friends, and eventually, much more than friends. There are countless theories on why they didn't end up together the first time around. Some say Camilla wasn't considered suitable by the palace. Others blame Lord Mountbatten, who allegedly pushed Charles to move on. Either way, by 1980, Camilla and Charles had rekindled their relationship, despite both being married. What happened next was tabloid gold and a royal disaster. Diana. Her true story dropped in 1992, blowing the lid off Charles and Camilla's affair. Then came the infamous Tampongate tapes in 1993.
Before they exchanged sordid comments down a telephone line, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles were just two young people in love.
A leaked, deeply personal phone call that made headlines worldwide and painted Charles and Camilla in an incredibly awkward light. The British public? Not impressed. Camilla, in particular, became the villain of the royal fairy tale. But even then, Charles wasn't letting her go. After both of their divorces, he made it clear that Camilla was non-negotiable. That's when Mark Bolland was brought in to salvage her image. And slowly, it started working. In 1999, they appeared together in public for the first time at the Ritz. In 2000, she met the Queen. In 2002, she attended the Golden Jubilee concert at Buckingham Palace. Camilla went from royal home wrecker to accepted royal companion. Then came the engagement in 2005. The ring? A stunner from the Queen Mother's collection. But even then, it wasn't smooth sailing. Their wedding had to be moved from Windsor Castle to a town hall because of legal logistics. The ceremony was delayed due to the Pope's funeral. And the Queen herself didn't attend the wedding, though she did show up for the blessing and reception. Despite the rocky road, Camilla settled into royal life with surprising ease. She became the Duchess of Cornwall and, eventually, Queen Consort.
Camilla is now the Queen, kind of. The new king's darling wife has become the Queen Consort.
Over time, the Queen extended her genuine royal perks, including lending her the Greville tiara and granting her the Royal Family Order. She took on royal duties, championed causes like osteoporosis awareness, and even won over some of the Diana loyalists. Not all, but enough. Camilla and Charles split their time between Clarence House in London and Birkhall, their beloved estate in the Scottish Highlands. But there's one place that remains truly hers: Ray Mill House. It's not a palace or a grand royal residence. It's Camilla's personal sanctuary, tucked away from the constant buzz of royal cameras and court life. It's where she retreats when she wants to step out of the royal spotlight and just breathe. Despite her quiet demeanor, Camilla's influence has only grown over the years. In 2023, The Independent named her the most influential woman, proof that the former other woman has come a long, long way. And to think, back in the 90s, she was on Richard Blackwell's infamous list of 10 worst-dressed women, not once, but 4 times. In 1994, 1995, 2001, and again in 2006. She was mocked and ridiculed, and fashion magazines had a field day. But like everything else in her life, Camilla didn't let the criticism define her. She quietly evolved her style over the years, working with top designers, experimenting with silhouettes, and finding what worked for her. These days, she's known for her love of signature tea dresses and structured shirt dresses, favoring soft, classic tones, nudes, whites, and navy blues. She leans into rounded necklines and timeless elegance. And her jewelry collection? It's been widely praised for its sophistication and charm. In fact, Tatler turned the tables on her fashion reputation in 2018 by naming her one of Britain's best-dressed people. The magazine even credited her with giving Millenary a good name, a nod to her now iconic collection of wide-brimmed hats. And by 2022 and 2023, Charles and Camilla had officially become a power couple, topping Tatler's Social Power Index 2 years in a row. Then, in 2024, they honored her again, this time placing her on their list of the most glamorous European royals. But one of her biggest personal moments came in 2022, when she appeared in her very first solo magazine shoot for British Vogue. It wasn't just a fashion spread, it was a power move. The shoot took place at Clarence House, and the outfits? They were pulled straight from her own wardrobe. No stylists, no fashion overhaul, just Camilla being Camilla. A year later, Vogue named her one of the Vogue 25, a list of women pushing British society forward. Not bad for someone who once faced relentless public shaming. Even her relationship with fashion has evolved with a sense of responsibility. In May 2024, Buckingham Palace confirmed that Camilla would no longer procure any new fur garments, responding directly to an inquiry from People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. It was a subtle but meaningful shift, reflecting the modern values the monarchy is slowly beginning to embrace. And let's not forget the titles. Camilla is no stranger to royal honors. She's a Royal Lady of the Most Noble Order of the Garter, Extra Lady of the Order of the Thistle, Dame Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order, and Grand Master of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Add to that 2 royal family orders from Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles III, and memberships in both the UK and Canadian Privy Councils, and it's clear this woman holds serious status. But here's the thing. Behind all the medals, tiaras, and gowns is someone who has survived brutal headlines, scandal, heartbreak, and a mountain of public judgment. Camilla went from being the woman everyone whispered about to the Queen Consort, standing strong beside the King. Now that's a royal plot twist no one could have predicted. What do you think about Queen Camilla's estate? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.